Okay, good morning, everyone. We have already covered RL concepts, reinforcement learning concepts, and probability theory associated to it with the case study of emotion recognition in our previous sessions. Today, we'll just have a quick quiz on those topics so that it becomes a more better learning. The first 10 questions were already given to you. You have already solved it, but we'll have just a recap of these questions so that we can move ahead. The first set of questions will be on reinforcement learning, then you will have advanced reinforcement learning quiz, and it will end with questions on probability related to emotion recognition. So quiz also have some emotion related probability concepts. So I think through this quiz, all this unit syllabus would be also covered. Okay, what are the topics which were covered in the session? I'll write in the description box again, which is our chapter 1. Okay, and the chapter book link will also be provided in this link. You can go through it, the PPT, everything through in the description of this quiz. Yes, so without wasting much time, let's start. Which of the following best defines reinforcement learning? Quick.
Option B.
Option B. It's a learning by trial and error to maximize cumulative record, because we all know, RL is about cumulative record. Next, in a MDP, what does the term Markov imply?
Option B.
Option B. Okay, because it is experience based learning and feedback based learning. So that is why given the present is also important. Okay. See, please try to be attentive because the questions which are going to come in the exam for evaluation will be based on certain type of this quiz which I keep on sharing. And this is a very important session. You may be given such type of questions. So, but what would be expected is when you answer something, you will be also be asked for the justification for it, and I will be explaining these concepts with the help of emotion recognition already and today's quiz. But there I can give you the same type of quiz with another type of case study. So आपको ये ऑप्शन क्लिक करने के बाद में वो केस स्टडी के हिसाब से आपको जस्टिफाई भी करना होगा. So I think the question paper is going to be quite interesting and simple, provided you understand the concepts. So question number 3. What does the policy in reinforcement learning refer to?
Option C.
Option C. A strategy mapping states to actions. Anybody? Any other answers? Yes, multiple people can also talk at the same time, okay? Instead of writing in the chat, because we are trying to be interactive, simultaneously not possible to see on the chat. Which of the following is a model-free RL algorithm?
Option B.
Option
B.
Okay. What is Q learning? Can anybody speak? Okay. What is Q learning? Once again, what does Q stand
Quality
for?
learning.
Quality learning. Okay. So that is why RL has become very popular, because we are focusing more on the quality learning. Next question, the Belmack equation is used to? First, classify data. Is Belmack equation for classification. Second is calculate policy gradient. Express the value of a state under a policy. Last, determine the activation function. The answer is C. Okay, because the equation which we discussed in our first lecture Okay, in that, according to that, it expresses the value under the policy. So what is the main difference between SARSA and Q learning?
Option D.
Option
C.
C.
C, correct. Q learning is an off policy. SARSA is a on policy. Now, what do you mean by off policy and on policy? Okay, so what is the seventh question? Can you see on screen? Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, in Q learning, the update rule includes which of the following terms?
Option B.
Option B.
Option B, the maximum Q value of the next state. Okay. Is there any doubt in this topic? If there is a doubt in any question answer, please let me know. Okay, we will discuss that after this session, and I will also provide you the link to that answer wherever it is a doubt. For example, in this case, I will surely put a link over here when I share the document. So, what is a primary advantage of using deep queue networks?
The option is C, ma'am.
Please be a bit louder.
Option is C, ma'am.
C, it uses neural networks to approximate Q values. Okay, so what is the deep Q networks is totally based on neural networks. Okay. And it is not possible that any deep learning should have no training. So D option gets removed. It removes need of value functions. It will definitely require a value function. It cannot go without that. So B option is also removed. And it handles continuous action spaces, which is not possible all the time. Okay, hence the answer is C. So ninth question, what is the main idea behind the reinforce algorithm?
Gradient ascent. C.
Use gradient ascent to update policy directly. Okay. What is a reinforce algorithm? What is the main idea? It is to use gradient ascent to update policy directly. Okay. So what is gradient ascent? Can anybody tell me? Can you please repeat?
It is an optimizing technique which is used for maximize the function moving from a direction of the gradient.
Yes, it is a optimization technique, okay, to calculate the next step, okay, regarding the policy. Correct. If you need the explanation, we will also take question number 9 along with question number 6, and I'll share the explanation below this link. Okay, so please note that question number 6 and question number 9. What does the discount factor gamma represent in RL? This should be simple for you.
Future
C.
reward.
Option?
C.
Yes, option C. Preference for future rewards over immediate ones. Because we know that discount factor is for the rewards and RL totally works for the on the basis of feedback based on the feedback and the reward thing. Correct. Now going through this advanced MCQ set. This was not taken earlier, so this might be a new thing for you. Okay. We can go with your pace. What type of feedback is used in reinforcement learning? I've made the quiz as easy as possible so that your concepts is also solved. What type of feedback is used in reinforcement learning?
Delay reward.
Delayed rewards. Why?
Because of delay feedback mechanism.
Yeah, because we do not know whether the individual steps taken by the agent is towards the right direction. So that will be calculated when you get a positive output at the end. Correct. So there are intermediate rewards. Okay. But the total cumulative reward will be calculated if the outcome is positive. If you remember, we had taken that puzzle. ठीक है, वो फायर तक जाएगा तो -1 और वो अगर स्पोर्ट्स तक जाएगा तो +1। तो उसके हर स्टेप पे हम लोग +1 रिवॉर्ड दे रहे थे, बट फाइनल रिवॉर्ड कैलकुलेट होगा अगर वो पॉजिटिव की तरफ उसका आंसर गया तो। सो द आंसर इज करेक्ट। और कई बार अगर आपको आंसर नहीं समझ में आता है और अगर ऐसे टाइप के आपको ऑप्शंस मिलते हैं जो कि हर बार पॉसिबल नहीं है, आप एक एक ऑप्शन को देखिए। डू यू थिंक दैट रीइंफोर्समेंट लर्निंग इज बेस्ड ऑन लेबल डेटा? नहीं, हमने पहले ही बोला इट इज नॉट सुपरवाइज लर्निंग, इट इज नाइदर अनसुपरवाइज लर्निंग। सो बी ऑप्शन ऑल्सो गेट्स डिस्कार्डेड। प्री डिफाइंड आउटपुट्स तो है ही नहीं, क्योंकि प्री डिफाइंड आउटपुट अगर हमें रहा तो हम ऑलरेडी पहले से ही प्रिडिक्ट कर लेंगे ना। एक्सपीरियंस एंड एक्सपीरियंस शायद होगा, लेकिन फीडबैक तो मिलेगा ही नहीं प्रीडिफाइंड आउटपुट में, इसलिए। सो 12th क्वेश्चन, व्हाट ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज नॉट अ कंपोनेंट ऑफ अ मार्कोव डिसीजन प्रोसेस?
Option D, labels.
Option D, labels. What is a Markov decision process? Can anybody just recap? We took it in the yesterday's session.
It is based on the actions which we take and then the rewards we collect.
Yeah, so partially it is randomly based output is considered. Okay. And next, partially it is considered by the decision process of the agent. Okay. Okay, so the answer is correct, labels. We have already taken the tuple theory of MDP in previous recording. So labels was not a part of it. Correct. 13th question, in policy-based methods, what is the goal of the agent? In policy-based methods, what is the goal of the agent? Just now we discussed about the gradient, and gradient, somebody answered, it is about normalization to get the
It is option C.
Yes, to directly learn the optimal. So that optimal word was coming from that gradient, if you remember the previous quiz. Correct. 14th question. What does temporal difference refer in TD learning? First of all, what is TD learning? The same, temporal difference, correct? So what does this TD mean in the learning phase of RL, reinforcement learning? Temporal difference is basically, what should be the actual value and what is predicted. Correct? That's the temporal difference. यानी क्या होना चाहिए और क्या actually calculate हुआ है. So the option is D. Okay, difference between predicted value and actual return. Should we go ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
15th question. Which technique combines both policy-based and value-based methods? Now, this is a bit tricky question.
Ma'am, is it a quick learning, Q learning?
Q learning. Which technique combines both policy-based and value-based? You need to recap what type of methods Q learning incorporates. Okay, so basically policy-based methods, for example, reinforce. Okay, they directly learn the policy. Whereas value-based methods, they learn the value function. So the policy is indirectly derived. Okay, I'll repeat, reinforce. It's a one form of policy-based methods where we directly learn the policy. Whereas value-based methods, for example, Q learning and SARSA. So you can just note down that reinforce is a policy-based methods, whereas Q learning and SALSA are value-based methods. And value-based methods, you learn the policy indirectly. So what you actually learn, you learn the value function. Okay, Q, S of A and V of S that we discussed in our previous chapter. I think you can revise those fundamentals of probability and equations. So finally, the option is C, that is actor-centric. So actor-centric combines both approaches. So the actor learns the policy, whereas the critic learns the what you call the value function. Do you get that explanation? Yes? So the answer is
Yes,
actor-centric.
ma'am.
Correct? This is a value-based method. This is a value-based method. Whereas reinforce is not mentioned here. That is a policy-based method. What about DQN? Can anybody tell me, is this a value-based method or a policy-based method? See, dueling DQN, you can just note it down. It is purely value-based method. Done? So the option is actor critic. So actor critic, just I mentioned. Which will, actor is value-based or critic is value-based? Which is policy-based and which is value-based? So actor is a policy-based, whereas critic is a value-based. Okay? Actor is a policy-based, critic is a value-based. So this both combines both the policy-based and value-based method. Clear? Should we go ahead with the next question? Which reinforcement learning algorithm uses experience replay? The answer,
DQN, ma'am.
yes, DQN, correct. In Monte Carlo method, when is the value function updated? The answer is after the end of the episode. Okay, so I've shared you the notes for Monte Carlo methods, but I will try to put here the explanation with once again the methods in Monte Carlo. Okay, so you can keep question number 6, 9, and 17 for the reference. Okay, anybody can note that. Question number 18. Which of the following is true about the E-greedy method? Answer is balances exploration and exploitation. So in our chapter, I have differentiated about exploration and exploitation. So maybe a revision is required. Okay, then you can answer this question. So you can keep this also on hold if you have not gone through the notes. So keep this also question noted. Question number 19, which one is a disadvantage of Q learning? So in one of the previous quiz, it was mentioned that continuous action spaces is not possible. That option was deleted, right? So that is why this option is the answer. Question number 20. What does the reinforcement algorithm require to perform updates? Just now I mentioned, what is reinforce algorithm? Policy based or value based? Reinforce is a policy based, correct? It directly learns the policy and it is good in handling continuous or high dimensional action spaces. But reinforce, it can have high variance and often learn slowly. That's the disadvantage of it. So what's the answer? The answer is C, gradient of the expected return. Why gradient? Because we get the optimized solution. That is why we are using RL, no, avoiding the supervised and unsupervised. So we want the optimal solution. So this was also one of the option in previous quiz. So the answer is C. Okay, then which method learns from the complete trajectory of rewards and functions? So which of this method is understood by entire trajectory? Now see, SARSA is a value-based method. It understands value function, even Q learning. Okay. Now, which method? Temporal method will not give you the trajectory. It will not learn the entire trajectory. It will just give you the difference, and that's a mathematical formula. So Monte Carlo is a method which actually learns from the complete trajectory. Means I gave you an example in the last lecture that if I drive a car every day from home to office and vice versa. So in the morning, home to office, in the evening, office to home. So Monte Carlo will understand the complete trajectory of the route. Okay, everyday route. So if the route is changing or there is a traffic somewhere, so this will be learned by the Monte Carlo and it will give the rewards and actions accordingly. So in that way, you can relate to Monte Carlo policy. What happens when gamma is set to 0 in RL? Now, these concepts, okay, which we are discussing, for that, our yesterday's notes, the book chapter notes, which were shared, that has to be revised. But then too, we'll just have a recap. What happens when gamma is set to 0 in RL? So this is a better way if you, of course, you read the book chapter shared in the link, but this will, if you understand these questions in this quiz, so those notes are, of course, the subject is mathematical and statistical. So this will be a better way to understand. So what happens when gamma is set to 0 in RL? See, if you see all the options, B, C, D doesn't relate to RL at all. These things will never happen. Okay, because we are designing it in that way. So the agent becomes short-sighted, focused only on the immediate reward. Why on the next step reward? Because we have set it to RL. RL is 0. So if you remember our first lecture recording, I'll share you that also in the description box. वो जो puzzle हमने solve किया था, उसमें हर step पे वो +1 कर रहा था. So immediate reward वो declare कर रहा था. Okay, because हमने starting के ही gamma को